it's Ron again. I hope that you're having a great day. In chapter 20, we saw the millennium. Then at the end of the millennium, Satan will be thrown into hell, and he'll be there forever. And then we saw there's going to be what we call the final judgment, where everyone will be judged. And then after that comes chapter 21. It says in verse 1, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more." So here he tells us that he's going to create a new heaven and a new earth. And he doesn't tell us here what happens to this old one, but Peter tells us in 2 Peter chapter 3. And what he says there is that this earth and heaven, the heavenly bodies, are going to be burned up with fire. So God's just going to completely burn up this universe, and he's going to recreate it, make a new heaven and new earth. And in this new earth, it says that there's going to be no more sea, so there'll be no oceans. So that'll be really interesting, but it's going to be a perfect place, as we'll see. It says in verses 2 and 3, "And I saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne saying, 'Behold, the dwelling place of God is with man. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people, and God himself will be with them as their God.'" So God's going to bring the city down out of heaven to earth, to this new earth, and it's called the New Jerusalem, and it's going to be God's city. His throne is actually going to be there, so he's going to live there. And the cool thing is we're going to live there with him. If you're a Christian, you'll be there with him forever. And so that's just amazing to think that we are going to live in a city forever with the all-powerful, all-knowing creator of the universe, and all righteous, never does anything wrong. That's just going to be amazing. And then it says in verse 4, "He will wipe away every tear from their eyes, and death shall be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain any more, for the former things have passed away." So on this new heaven and new earth, it's going to be a perfect place. There's going to be no death, no pain, so no sickness even. There's going to be no mourning or nothing to be sad about, never a problem. So it's just going to be paradise forever. That's just amazing. So we'll be with God in paradise forever. And then it says in verse 5, "And he who was seated on the throne said, 'Behold, I am making all things new.' Also he said, 'Write this down, for these words are trustworthy and true.'" So here he emphasizes again that he's going to make everything new. It's not going to be this messed up world anymore. It's going to be a new world. It's going to be perfect. And then he says, these words are trustworthy and true. Nobody can stop God from doing this. He is going to do this, so we can trust him with that. Then it says in verse 6, "And he said to me, 'It is done. I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. To the thirsty I will give from the spring of the water of life without payment.'" When he talks about here giving from the water of life, it's sort of like when Jesus talked to the woman at the well. He talked about living water. And what that means is it's just spiritual life. If you ask God for forgiveness and to come in your life, he'll do that. He'll take your sins away, and he'll give you a new life. And so that's what it's talking about here. No matter who you are or what you've done, he's going to give that to you if you sincerely ask him to do those things. And here it also emphasizes that without payment. There's nothing we can do to earn it. All we have to do is ask for it. So just ask God to forgive you and to come in your life and make something good out of it. And he promises he will not reject that request. And then it says here in verse 7, "The one who conquers will have this heritage, and I will be his God, and he will be my son." So the heritage he's talking about is living in this New Jerusalem, this perfect life. He says, the one who conquers will have this. And again, conquering is not something we earn or do. It's just by trusting God for forgiveness and new life. That's how we conquer sin and death. And so as we trust him for forgiveness and new life, he gives it to us, and we'll be his children forever. Just amazing. And then it goes on, and finally in verse 8 it says, "But as for the cowardly, the faithless, detestable, as for murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, adulterers, and all liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death." So in contrast to Christians, we are going to go to be with God in a perfect place forever, never another pain or sorrow or anything. But it's going to be the opposite for these people. They are going to be separated from God forever in hell, and they're going to be tortured forever and never have anything good happen. So it's just a completely different thing for them. And again, this is sad, but this is what they've earned by rejecting God. And so we'll end there for today. Thanks for watching.